antenna. Right here are the dimensions. This is the number that I went with, the 8500. I believe it's 8501 if you want it in black. I remember it was one digit off. I can't recall. But there's your white and black. And we picked up this, what is it called? Silvox. And pretty cool TV. It's Android TV with Google. I believe that's a CA on the end there. R2 or RT27R2K GC7, I want to say, or CA. Trying to look through there. Yeah, it's got that Sharpie mark. Yeah, it looks like CA. And right there's your dimensions on that, guys. It's a 27 inch. And picked up both of these off of Amazon. The antenna was about 150 bucks. And the TV, I believe, was $3.99. You could pick up different sizes, you know, cheaper or a little more. I went with the 27 because it was the best buy. You know, for inch per dollar. And actually it ended up working out pretty well as far as that goes. So wanted to just kind of run this by you guys on how to hook one of these up. It comes with this here. Let me see if we can turn on some light in here. Excuse the mess, guys. Everything's a mess because I'm drilling and had to move a bunch of stuff off the fridge and trying to, there we go. Maybe there's a shadow. Okay, set to and antenna. So one cable will go up to the antenna on the roof, and the other two, one goes, I'd have to look at the instructions, but you know, obviously it comes with instructions. You guys will see it in black and white, but basically it's just a jumper from that gizmo up to the roof antenna. This is pretty cool because it's adjustable and actually comes with a different extension. So if your roof is really thick, they have another one that will tie on there. So had to remove this board and drill this thing out. It's pretty nasty because I had to put a 2.5 inch hole. This is a hub, basically what we install on the top of electrical panels because they can't leak because you're coming down into the top of an electrical panel. So these actually have a rubber gasket, basically almost like an embedded O-ring on the outside. So I stuck this through so it will be watertight. Of course, if water was to get down inside the connector, but you know, most of your rain, snow, things like that are just going to be, you know, runoff around the hole. So this gives me a lot more assurance that we're not going to have a leak in the roof, especially with a 2.5 inch hole, guys. Excuse me. I wasn't really too thrilled about doing that, but we got to do what we got to do to get this thing hooked up. So this will come down and tie to, let's see, is that around? I do not see it handy, of course. Not sure where it went. But anyway, we'll just describe it. It's a little gizmo that just screws to the roof here, and a knob is underneath that. So this allows you to rotate the antenna back and forth. This will actually tie into that gizmo. There's 4 LED lights on there. So to my understanding, what you do from looking through the instructions, which is one of the reasons I went with this type of antenna, you turn this until the LEDs start lighting up one by one, and it kind of basically gives you your signal strength instead of having to turn the antenna and then search for channels on your TV and then you come up with nothing. So then you turn the antenna again, search for channels on your TV, and hopefully you come up with 2 or 3 channels, you know what I mean? I'm sure you've been there. So with this unit, you can actually spin this and it gives a signal identification on what's your strongest signal. So once you get the most lights that light up, if you get 2 sometimes, maybe 3 sometimes, if you're getting great coverage closer to a city, then you'll get, all 4 bars. So then you just lock it into that position, and then that's when you would search for your channels. So $150, I thought it was really well worth it. There is another type that stands up, kind of like on a pole, and it drops down. That was my second consideration. But after looking through all the reviews and things like that, one thing, it's just, if you forget to put it down, people knock it off, they run into something, a tree branch with it, or maybe even the wind blows it over if you forget to drop it down. This, just put it in, forget it. So I thought that was better for that reason alone, but I think this one may even actually pick up a little better. So over here is where that coax cable gizmo I showed you guys. This would be for, where's this guy? This guy goes up to the antenna also. Excuse me. So we've got one going up to the antenna here, and this one here goes up to the antenna. So your knob gets a signal from the antenna, and this guy is going up to the antenna as well. I've got it taped right here with some, this is aluminum tape, what they use on air ducts. I figured it would be better for the heat, more so than probably just about any other tape that I had laying around anyway. We do need 12 volts. So this is going to tie to this guy, which runs back to our electrical panel. So I will tie in that to this. I will also tap in a cigarette lighter adapter here, because this is a 12 volt television as well. I had the 120 volt television, but we have to run the inverter on that all the time, which really kind of sucks. So especially when you're getting ready to turn in for the night and you want to watch a little TV before you crash, and then you got to get up and turn the inverter off and turn the TV off, and it's just a pain in the butt. So this will just have a cigarette lighter adapter screwed right here. I'll tie all this stuff together in conjunction there. A splice, which will actually send power back up to our junction up there. On the opposite side of this, which is here, this will send power to the TV direct, and just an on and off button there. One of these is from the antenna, and the other 2 are for a TV number 1 and TV number 2, basically, is what you've got going on here. So pretty simple setup, guys. I mean, it's pretty much 2 coax cables coming down from the antenna. One goes to this unit, one goes to this unit, and then you've got 2 coax setups here to go to 2 different televisions. So, I don't know, in the future, I doubt I will do something like that, because just the way I set this up, it's on a swivel, and it can actually swivel around so you can see it from the outside of the van, outside the slider door here. So I can use it inside the van and outside the van. But you know, if you've got a big 40-foot fifth wheel, or you know, a coach or what have you, big monster RV, then you know you would be able to use two TVs. You could have an outside TV setup and an inside TV setup. So here is the actual unit, guys. I was out of real estate up there because I've got 600 watts of solar, and right there is our AC unit. So per instructions, it's supposed to be 8 inches away from the edge. So we're just going to have to violate that rule in their directions. I'm guessing it's probably mostly just because of wind not blowing it off. I would think that the wind just blasting, you know, you get a side drift up against the side of the van here. It would taper off a bit, you know, once it hit the side of the van. But you're going to get the cross motion and the up motion. So if it slings the antenna off, I'll have to eat that, or see if it, you know, I can get it taken care of under warranty. But you know, my hands were tied. I've got the solar up there. The other rule is it cannot be anything around it within 20 inches. It has to be within 8 inches, or 8 inches or more from the edge of the roof. So the side of the roof coming down. So 8 inches inward from the side, and you need 20 inches of real estate around it if objects are more than 8 inches tall. So that put me somewhat in a dilemma. But with that being said, not sure, you guys might be able to see it if I put it. You guys are taller than me. You might be able to see the ridges. There's ridges up on the roof. Of course, I had my ladder set up here earlier, but of course now it's not. But there's ridges about a half an inch up. So it's like a triangular base on the bottom of that thing. I'm sure you could rewind from the beginning when I showed the picture of it. So there was really no way of mounting it down with those ridges up there on the roof. So I went with a 2x12 piece of wood. I primered it with Kills, which is a very good primer. And then I just rattle canned it with some gray spray paint that I had laying around. So I stuck that down over top of that connector that I showed you guys on the inside, which is meant for electrical panels. So it'll have a good seal even if water gets up underneath that 2x12. But I'm going to seal all around that and put some goop on the actual triangular base to seal that down to the 2x12, and then screw that down to the 2x12. And I'll probably put a couple screws through the top of the van, just like self-tappers or something, to just kind of hold it down so the caulk's set. Probably use a silicone underneath around the base is what I am going to use. This is probably like a kitchen bath plumbing. It's probably not very heat resistant, but it'll be underneath the 2x12, so it'll be shaded at least, and lifetime guarantee on it. So you know, it's pretty good stuff just at your hardware store. But this is the main stuff here. You have to get this. I couldn't find it locally for sure, but this is what I used on my Max Air vent, and it's dynamite. So this stuff I purchased this off of Amazon, and this is just a little bag of butyl tape, which I also believe I got this off of Amazon. So my plan is to put the butyl tape in between the ridges just to kind of build that up, and I'll get it up to the top of the ridge. Then I'll put a bead of that silicone around, and then we'll lay that 2x12 down on top of the silicone, and the butyl tape, and then I'll suck it down with a couple screws so that'll set up nice. And then I will use that other stuff, which is better, around the base of the antenna, and then I'll screw that base of the antenna down to the 2x12, and then I'll use the remainder of that stuff, excuse me, that I got off of Amazon. It's real good stuff, lap sealant, self-leveling, so I'll end up putting that around the 2x12. I would have liked to have come up with something better than just a 2x12 because it's going to weather up there on the roof, but it is what it is. It serves the purpose, and if it rots in the future, I can just keep an eye on it, and we'll pry it off of there and just throw another 2x12 up. So no harm, no foul. Somebody's in the chat. It's kind of hard to read out here in the sun. The signal's really bad, Van. I assume you're talking about my signal that on the live. You need one of my stickers for that refrigerator of yours. Yeah, I do, man. I meant to ask you when I came out to visit you, but I actually forgot. That's my my sticker fridge. Every sticker I get goes on that fridge, and it's a pretty big fridge, so I'm trying to cover the entire van up with stickers. So yeah, I got a 12-volt smart television, Larry. So I'm changing out the 120-volt television so I won't have to run the inverter. And when I originally did this build, they did not have the 12-volt smart televisions. So ended up picking this guy up on Amazon. I showed the serial number, all that stuff in the beginning of the video if you're interested. 27-inch, and actually has a DVD player as well in the side right there in the back. So not only is it a smart television, it has the DVD player, and you know, we can pick up off of the antenna that I'm installing as well. So cool, right on. Yeah, I just need one for the fridge. That'll be awesome, man. Hopefully you have some other followers show up there. Know you have quite a few followers over the years. Yeah, I can probably send you the link, man. But I put the box in right in the beginning of the video, and the name of it and all that stuff. Just got it right off of Amazon. So pretty cool stuff. It's got a cigarette lighter adapter, so you can plug into a cigarette lighter or a 120 volt also. So plan on bringing a couple wires. You probably missed it, but gonna make a splice. This here's running up in the ceiling. I had to pull a couple of these tongue and grooves down. Thank goodness it was in the curve, so I was able to get a couple out without having to take the whole damn ceiling down. You know how this tongue and groove is. But I'm going to make a splice here to make that hot with this 12-volt source here coming from the battery bank. So I'll have that back up behind here, and I'm going to put a little cigarette lighter adapter here. So I'll just be able to plug that in right in the corner of, behind the television. It's Silvox, or however you pronounce that. That's the name brand. Just type that into Amazon. I went with the 27-inch for whatever reason. I want to say it was cheaper per inch, and it just fit my situation. The one I took out of here, I believe, was a 32, I think, was the one I took out. And it was just too big. It may have been a little bigger than that, but I bonked my head on it when I went from the driver's seat to get into the back, and It was just taking up too much real estate in here. So we off that, and that may just become a garage TV or something. And I didn't have the locking swivel base on the back, so I had to tie it down with a ratchet strap type of thing. So that sucked. And, I had to run the inverter to watch the damn thing, so that sucked. So, but I did what I could do when I did the build. So every year they come out with better stuff. So this one actually has a Google, I guess, what would you call that? I said the word the other day, operating system. So it's Android, Google, they've kind of merged together. So I'm hoping to be able to get pretty much any app that you want to download into that TV. We'll see how that pans out once we get up there to Bridgeport. It'll just be us because they don't announce. Well, we had talked about this a long time back. Actually, I'm the one that brought it up, I think, about a month or something back because you had forgotten about it because it was so far back. But I was looking forward to it. So I'm sure somebody seen you talking about it even way back then, but if you forgot, they probably forgot too, right? But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I wanted to get this TV in. I kind of looked at the extended weather forecast, and it was pretty much 20-25% on a lot of the days that we're going to be up there for precipitation. So I'm sure one day is going to get us. So sure be nice to have a TV inside the van if we get rained out one day. Yeah, they do run quite a bit, and the more wattage, the more it draws. So I run a 3,000 watt inverter. So whatever you're running, imagine how much a 3,000 draws off the battery. So that's why I have such a big battery bank. It's always better to go bigger than regret going so small. And when you get those lithium batteries, they actually say you want to buy them, I think, within a month or something like that. You don't want to have one for like a year and then add another one. I think one kind of brings down the other, kind of like solar panels, I think, work the same way. So you kind of want to get that stuff all together when it's brand new. So you know, they die all together. They're babies when they're all together in the beginning. So I went with probably more than what I needed, but it's nice to have. And I just keep making little adjustments to get stuff off of that inverter and make it more 12 volt direct. So my refrigerator freezer is 12 volt. The water pump, of course, for the plumbing is 12 volt. Most people have that. My diesel heater is 12 volt. So all my lighting in there, everything is 12 volt. So, I'm getting pretty much everything dialed in to 12 volt gradually. And then I came across this television. I said, man, I got to have that, especially with the Android Google partnership there in this television. That was, it was a win-win-win all the way around. So, and not real expensive. I think it was $3.99. So I didn't think that was bad at all, especially with a DVD player, and it's a smart television. And 27 inches is pretty damn good size for inside of a van. As I seen with the 32 or whatever I took out of there, it was kind of big and in the way. It was nice when you were watching it, but it was really more in the way than I watched it, because you don't watch it much anyway, but it's just nice to have when you need it, or it rains or something and you need something to do. So I've got the microwave that's 120 volts. I have the rooftop AC they're actually making those 12 volt now. I have read some of the reviews and kind of mixed feelings on that, which probably somewhat understandable, you know, depending on where you're at. If you're in Vegas and it's 150 degrees, you know, of course it's probably not going to work as well as if you're, you know, up in Montana or somewhere north, Canada or what have you. Try to shade this thing so I can read. Running 1000-watt inverter, and I believe it uses around 37 watts all by itself. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me, and that's just at idle, like you say, because you got a fan going on in there, and just the process of the electronics to be able to convert it over, and then when you plug something into it, of course it's even drawing more. For some really stupid reason, Elon Musk created the RV version of the Starlink and made it run on 110 volt AC. That's hilarious. He's probably got stock in inverters. You would think for the RV version he would have made it 12 volts, that dummy. Yep. Yeah, well that's common sense, bud. Common sense isn't very common anymore, as you know. So, yeah, that kind of sucks for sure. If you're doing a camper build, a van build, any type of RV, you definitely want to get everything on a 12 volt system because it's a lot more efficient. So that's what I've been doing, slowly but surely. I've got 120 volt water heater, the microwave, and the air condition unit. I believe that is it as far as, we'll say, appliances within the van. My stove works off a 12 volt, just a spark igniter, and I've got the propane tank that I mounted up underneath. So that's propane gas for the stove and the oven. So like I said, the fridge and the freezer 12 volt. All my lighting's 12 volt. Got a bunch of USB ports in there, all 12 volt cigarette lighter adapters, of course, and you know, water pump, like I said earlier. So everything's 12 volt except for those three things that I can think of off the top of my mind. And you know, of course, I've got a few 120 volt receptacles around, but you know, if you don't need it, you can just shut that stuff off, and that's what's great about it. So right now I'm sitting at 13.3, but she's plugged into the garage, so that just kind of keeps her at a float charge. This here, just a cord that I keep plugged in. Oops, backed it. This runs up to microwave plug there, up top above the passenger seat. So I just roll this up and hang it on that hook there whenever I need 120 volts. I just hit the switch right there. They call that a remote switch, but it's wired. That just turns the inverter on in the back, and then I've got 120 volts. So, yeah, I'm hoping this antenna works out great. It was really good reviews on it, and mainly the reason I purchased it was because of the signal that is in this unit. You can turn the antenna and you are able to see how much signal you're getting, and then you can search for your channels instead of just a big waste of time with adjusting your antenna and then having to search for channels and you're not picking up anything. So this antenna is pretty cool. You turn the antenna and it turns on 4 different LEDs as far as how strong the signal gets. Hey Andy, good seeing ya. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, no common sense for sure. 48 quart ice cold refrigerator, uses nothing on 12 volts. Yep, that's got the same compressor in it that my refrigerator has. I can't remember, but yeah, I did all that research a few years ago when I started this masterpiece. But my fridge is made by Unique right there. Got it off of homedepot.com. And it's about twice the size of, well, the little small dorm refrigerators. It's probably 3 of those. The door is basically 2 of those little small refrigerators, and then the upper part is the freezer, so that's about the size of one of those as well. So it's a pretty good size fridge. There was another one I really wanted. I believe that was made by Unique as well, and yeah, it was 12. Yeah, it was 12 volts, but it was a retro style, Larry. You would really love it, but I just didn't have the ceiling height. It would have fit in here, but I was afraid I wouldn't be able to stand it up. So I just, being mail order, delivery type of stuff, I didn't want to have to deal with having to ship the damn thing back. So I just settled for this one, but it was quite a bit more expensive than this one. This one was $1,000 a couple years ago. So who knows what this one costs now, and who knows what the hell the other one costs now. But it was really cool. It was total retro style. I know you know what I'm talking about. And that would look really cool in those campers that you restore. So something you might want to turn a customer on to anyway. Got it right there off of homedepot.com. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to finish this off right here. Just wanted to share the install on that antenna and make everyone aware that they do have 12 volt smart televisions now. So, you know, quite a nice upgrade for a van build, RV build, you know, camper, whatever you're doing. They have the 12 volt smart televisions now. So super cool and not real expensive. $400 I spent for a 27 inch. So I think it was a hell of a deal. Who knows how long it lasts, but you know how we are in a throwaway society today. But if I get a couple years out of it, hell, I guess I got my money's worth. That's kind of where you are these days. Let's check our comments. All right, no more comments. So we're going to end it right there, guys, before I need to respond again. I have a lot of work to do. Me and Mobile Tech Larry are headed up to Bridgeport here in a couple weeks. So trying to, hustle and bustle and get a bunch of stuff done to make our lives a little easier up there when we get up there and do our fishing trip. Woo! Just had a hamburger for lunch. She keeps burping up. All right, guys. Till next time. We'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you.